My boys, today we're stepping into the war room and doing a little bit of matchmaking, and we're going to be building the ideal but realistic cards for the highly anticipated UFC 320, 321, and 322 going down in October and November. So I really do believe, and I guess I really do hope, that these cards are going to be as stacked as they should be, because again, not having 7 or 8 weeks without a pay-per-view, because there is no September card, I feel like is going to leave a lot more room for a lot more of those top 5 and top 10 matchups that the fans have been yearning for. No more Justin Tough on the main card or any of that bullshit. I feel like because they're going to have a few weeks without a pay-per-view, not to say the fight nights aren't going to be good, I think they will be in the meantime, but I feel like those big matchups are going to be free to use on display for the pay-per-views that we have coming up. So I'm keeping this dreamlike but also realistic at the same time. We're trying to sell these. And how this is going to be working is that I have 5 main card fights and 1 feature prelim for 320, 21, and 22. So there's going to be 18 fights total. And that's how we're going to be doing this. So just starting off with UFC 320 taking place in Viva Las fucking Vegas. I'm going to start with the main events instead of the feature prelims this time. I'm changing it up a little bit, but UFC 320, man, it's going to be going down in Las Vegas. You got to think it needs a strong, captivating main event here. First pay-per-view in a while, month and a half for the fans. They're itching and they're begging for, hold fucking scene, the return of Tom Aspinall, baby. This is the soonest opportunity, besides if you're not going to make Paris a pay-per-view card and if you're going to not put a title fight on it, which it doesn't look like they're going to do that. It looks like Amaimov versus Baraujo is going to be the main event for Paris, so if it's just going to be that and it's just going to be a fight night, this is the next possible time and the soonest possible time you can give Tom Aspinall his justice and make his first real title defense. It's his goddamn second, to be honest with you. That's, if anything, the realest fucking thing here, but Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Fans are chomping at the bit to see this guy back in the cage. We want this fucking bad, man. Like, I'm fucking salivating over it. Not in some weird fucking way, man, but Tom Aspinall is one of the most under-promoted but exciting fighters overall in the entire roster. So I know Cyril Gane isn't exactly the most hyped option you can get him, but he's dealing with a shallow division that he's already beaten most of the top 10 for. So in my opinion, I feel like the Volkov rematch could be there, but it's just not really as captivating as Tom's coming out party. It really is the champion now, you know what I'm saying? And you could do a Jalen Almeida, but Almeida just got knocked out by Blades, who got knocked out by Aspinall. So it is what it fucking is. Cyril Gane, he's the movie star. He's the one that they want to fucking do next. He is the French Marine, and at the end of the day, this is just the heavyweight title picture that we didn't want at all. We started off the year thinking that it's going to be Jones versus Aspinall, and then we have that at home being Aspinall versus fucking Gane. But to be honest with you, I don't really hate this fight. I don't even fucking dislike it. I'm more so once you just realize that, you know what, heavyweight has not been cooking, but now that Jones, this fucking cancer, this terrorist, this doomsday device to the fucking sport, is finally gone, the division can move on now. And Gane, I know that he did rob our boy Volkov. It was an absolute robbery fucking win, but I feel like it's a proper first test as Aspinall to be the champion. And it's hard to even say that anything is really a test at this point for Aspinall in his career, but at the end of the day, Gane is the man. Can Aspinall beat him quicker than John Jones, or is Gane really a people forget man kind of fighter? And he's going to bring it to Aspinall. You got to think he's going to be a huge favorite. And again, I know this isn't everybody's ideal fucking scenario here, but it is what it fucking is. I think it's going to be a good scrap. Aspinall's going to be a massive favorite, and he's coming into this one as the confident champion with all the momentum in the fucking world, or at least he's trying to get the ball rolling. But regardless, I still think that there could be enough talking points and it could be a captivating enough matchup to where people will be hyped for this. People want to see Aspinall back fucking now. So moving on up next to the co-main event. Now on paper, all right, this might not be the big bad Justin Gaethje's or the Poiriers, or like those kind of co-mains you're fucking used to, but at the end of the day, I think it's a good one. Sean Brady versus Ian Gary. I feel like the timing of everything works out perfectly here to where welterweight, for as stacked as it is, and the fact that it has so many guys that are on the verge of a number one contendership spot, or at least really cementing it, there's just so many guys that are just playing out the division and actually fighting each other. So everything's been playing out, man. Like, we actually have in the division with activity. We have a champion who's going to bring excitement in JDM. He has already a next contender in line who's the pound for pound number 1 gone 2 in Islam Makhachev. So welterweight is fucking cooking. I got another welterweight fight on this card as well, but I think for this being a co-main, at first it's kind of like, oh, you might want bigger names, but I feel like the stakes are there and it's a captivating enough fight. And Ian Gary, shoot your fucking mouth, he's gonna be talking a bunch of shit at the presser. It's something. We're all gonna fucking hate it, and he does have a chance of winning. But at the end of the fucking day, I feel like where both these guys are at in their career, they just need one fucking more to really cement themselves to maybe face the winner of whoever wins between JDM and Makhachev. So I think Gary's really improved with his takedown defense and his offensive and defensive grappling in general, training with Charles to fucking Bronze over the past couple years. So I definitely think we saw that against Carlos Prates as the fight went on as well. The takedowns that Prates was stuffing for most of the fight, he actually ended up fucking landing towards the end, and the fact that he took Shavkat's back, people forget, man. So Gary's ground game has improved significantly. He's solid in the clinch as well. And against Sean Brady, who that's his whole bread and butter, like I don't think he's the striker that Ian Gary is. I think Ian Gary's a lot more patient, technical, probably hits a little bit harder on the fucking feet, is really good at maintaining the distance. But against Prates, he was getting in the fucking pocket with them. He was getting a little bit scrappy with it. But Sean Brady at the end of the day has been improving his striking a lot as well. Not to the extent of Gary. I think that Gary still is going to be the superior striker, but Sean Brady looked good against Leon, man, on the feet and especially on the fucking ground. So Sean Brady's been developing a bit more into the well-rounded fucking department here. I feel like you can make this fight 3 rounds, 5 rounds. It don't fucking matter. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book in here, but I think that it's kind of a 50-50 fight going into it, but either way, there's big stakes on the line. I think that Brady's grappling would be too much, but you could argue that Brady doesn't have too great of a chin. He's kind of on and off in here, and I feel like that TKO to Bilal Muhammad will never be able to see the end of fucking day. So Gary can end up taking this one as well. Intriguing fight. Not the craziest fight in terms of name value, but this is how you build them up. You give them these big pay-per-view spots, and I feel like that both these guys are deserving of it. And I feel like there's going to be a bit of trash talk from both guys here. I feel like it could be an entertaining build-up. The fight, whether it'll be a dud or not, I don't fucking know, but the stakes are there, and I feel like it's a really intriguing matchup you can kind of go either way with. So moving on to what do I think should be the feature fight for this card. Here's the thing, here's the fucking thing, you guys. I love it when you have a number one contender fight for the same division as the same card as where the actual title fight is going down. So for this, it's going to be heavyweight. I wasn't crazy about Volkov versus Almeida at first, but considering how the division is fucking playing out, they're not going to give Volkov the immediate rematch, and I'd rather see Gane challenge for the belt than Almeida. At the end of the day, Volkov is still one away from a fucking title shot and getting a rematch with Aspinall or the fucking trilogy that nobody fucking wanted, but we might get in between Gane and Volkov here. Volkov clearly won the second fight. It is what it fucking is. It was a robbery. I want to be that guy that's pushing on my fake fucking glasses here and is like, oh, Alexander Volkov is the true number one contender. This guy made so much improvements and yada fucking yada. He did. He improved massively from the first time he fought Gane. He won that fight. I want to be able to give him the justice he fucking deserves, y'all. I want to, but at the end of the day, he does sadly need one more because on paper, he does have that loss and it was a robbery, but regardless, a rematch against Aspinall, it just is not going to be too intriguing to the fans, like especially considering how dominant Aspinall is and seeing the fact that it's a rematch for Aspinall instead of a fresh matchup and seeing as how quickly the first one ended, and it's just like Volkov definitely has earned his way back to getting a rematch, but it is what it fucking is. It just won't really sell as much to the fans. Even the hardcores are going to have a hard time really motivating themselves to get hyped up for an Aspinall-Volkov rematch. That's the problem, because Volkov does deserve it. He does deserve justice. That's better than just facing a fucking demon on the ground like Jalen Almeida, but at the end of the day, the way the division is playing out, I feel like this is just what we gotta fucking do. And I feel bad for Volkov here, man, but at the end of the day, Jalen Almeida is still a worthy enough guy so that this is a full-fledged number one contendership fight. So not ideal for Volkov, and I feel like this fight is either gonna be a fucking high-paced banger for at least the heavyweight blob standard, or it's gonna be a bit of a dull decision here. Hopefully the fuck not, man, but at the end of the day, I think rankings-wise, it makes perfect sense. I feel like it'll end in some kind of finish. Maybe Volkov, with his improved takedown defense, is able to crack Almeida with all the right shots on the feet and take him out. I feel like we haven't seen a big bad finish from Volkov in a while. And Jalen Almeida, people fucking forget, man. Everybody bases this guy's career way too much off the Derek Lewis performance. Other than that, he has consistent finishes on the feet. He hits fucking solid, and on the ground, the dude is slick as fuck with the submissions, and he's really good at controlling guys down there. I understand even Sergey Spivak had mounted him for a while. I understand even his blob ass took him fucking down. This undercover Russian motherfucking marauder, bro. But at the end of the day, Jalen Almeida is still well-rounded and dangerous enough to where he is one away from a title shot as well. So I feel like Volkov versus Almeida, it does make sense. It's probably going to end in some kind of finish if it's not some fucking dud, and it makes sense for the rankings, man. So I'm sorry to Volkov, but at the end of the day, this is just how the division's playing out here. And moving on up next to Mumblemouth versus Mumblemouth. UK versus UK. Arnold Allen versus Lerone Murphy is the fight I think you should make. Now, I'm hearing that Yair bitch-ass Rodriguez, this fucking doomsday to the sport, is not going to be getting getting the next title shot. Thank the fucking Lord and her mother. But at the end of the day, I'm hearing that Allen versus Yair might be in the works, so that is a solid fight. That's a much better fight than whatever the fuck Yair versus Volkanovski would have fucking been. So at the end of the day, I would love Allen versus Yair, but if they're not going to be doing that and it is just all talk, Allen versus Murphy, Mumblemouth versus Mumblemouth, it's going to be a battle for the crowd to who can understand this motherfucker less when they're talking on the presser, man, because Arnold Allen is a goddamn clusterfuck of a sentence former, and Lerone Murphy, bro, Lerone Murphy, the real pound for pound number one, bro. This dude, you could barely get a fucking interview out of him. So at the end of the fucking day, I feel like this would still be a good scrap. They're both primarily good strikers who have good takedown defense in their back pocket, but Lerone Murphy is probably the more well-rounded fighter, and he definitely has a bit more momentum on his side because he's a lot less well-perceived from the fans than a guy like Arnold Allen is, but Allen doesn't exactly have a massive fucking fan base either, but he's a good guy to have on the pay-per-view because you know he's going to bring a good scrap, especially on the feet. Arguably almost beat Evloev, gave this guy a couple of rounds. He took off of Max Holloway, so Allen is underrated as fuck, and he brings constant excitement. The fight against Chikadze in his last time out, it feels like fucking forever ago, but that was a fun scrap. And Lerone Murphy, somebody who's not too great in the people's eyes right now, especially considering the last couple of fights. I think the Dan Ige fight was pretty fun, but in general, his past few performances, I know the Barboza one too, was impressive as fuck. A true marauder performance. He dominated him, but the fight against Emmett was a letdown, and just in general, Murphy just doesn't have that highlight reel that you fucking want. Like, it's not a Bilal or Merab with decisions fest on the come up, but in general, people want more of that excitement out of Murphy, and Murphy's just one of those guys who he's the pure mixed martial artist. He's well-rounded. He doesn't talk shit, and he just shows the fuck up. It is what it fucking is, and you have Arnold Allen, who's similar, but at least he comes to fucking scrap. So I'd be really curious to see if Murphy, undefeated, I'm curious to see that even though he's a bit of an older prospect, can he beat the younger, I believe, Arnold Allen, who has a bit more experience up at the top, man. But I could see Allen shutting down the fucking hype that Murphy's trying to form. Both these guys are solidly well-rounded. They're going to bring a scrap on the feet, and I feel like Allen can bring the fun out of Murphy. So UK versus UK, it's a game between the translators of who can actually get these guys to fucking speak in a normal sentence here, man. But I love the scrap. I think it'd be a good one. And moving on to what should open up the pay-per-view here, I think Michael Morales versus Leon Edwards, another welterweight scrap we got going on here besides the co-main. And I feel like this is a solid fucking fight that I'm already hearing is in the works for Noche UFC, but on the off chance it's fucking not, man, I love this fight, and I feel like it'd be a winnable fight for Edwards. It's so easy, especially for somebody like me, to just shit on Mumblemouth, because another Mumblemouth, we got the third fucking Mumblemouth from the UK in a row, man. They're like the goddamn getting you for, so who can understand you? But at the end of the day, Leon Edwards, I got nothing but mostly bad things to fucking say about the guy. Y'all know me, and it'd be so easy for me to just say Michael Morales is gonna go out there and beat him however he wants. This guy's the future of the division. He's well-rounded as fuck. He can knock you on the feet. I mean, who does that to Gilbert Burns? This guy's an absolute destroyer. I feel like Michael Morales is a hardcore dream, man. He's Joe Rogan's epiphany. Even though I could just sit here and absolutely shit on Leon Edwards and just absolutely hype up Michael Morales, I'm not gonna do that because I feel like there's just a couple of holes in Michael Morales' game that gets a bit overlooked. Like, the guy, he definitely isn't chinny by any means, but he is susceptible to getting cracked with big shots on the feet. And even though he does hit hard, especially now that he's getting these fights in the rankings, back-to-back sweet as fuck knockouts, in general, I feel like the guy doesn't have crazy devastating power to the point to where it's a guy that isn't going to be as dominant in the grappling like a guy like Sean Brady was able to be to really beat Leon Edwards. Edwards, I feel like, will be able to maybe piece up Morales on the feet. I feel like Morales is going to be much more the pressure fighter. Like, yeah, he's had high-paced fucking scraps in his past couple of performances, but also don't forget, man, this guy's Apex run that he was on for a little bit, he knows how to go to the judges' scorecards as well. So he racks up good finishes on the feet and on the ground, yes, but also the guy is a bit of a patient fighter in his own right. I think regardless of that, Edwards, it's hard to fucking bring the excitement or pressure out of him because Leon Edwards, in my opinion, is just a boring fighter. It is a risk to put him as like a pay-per-view opener, but I feel like he has a point to prove being 0-2 in his last two. He's probably feeling disrespected as fuck. I mean, where are all the headshot dead comment sections? Where are all the Leon Edwards fans, man? They're fucking gone. But I think Leon Edwards has a point to prove to where he will be a lot more open to getting in the pocket with Morales than in previous performances, and I feel like that he's not going to be as hesitant. He's not going to be on the back foot as much. He's not going to try and be too technical with it because he's facing lower and lower competition each time he's getting out there. Like he went from the title fight to then Sean Brady to Michael Morales. And to be fair, all three of those guys are really fucking good. They're really dangerous. And they're nightmare-ish matchups for a guy like Leon Edwards who just wants to play it out on the feet. Sean Brady's a heavy wrestler and Bilal Muhammad's a heavy wrestler. Michael Morales is a guy who wants to play it out on the feet, but he knows how to mix it up as well. So Michael Morales is a scary matchup for Edwards, and I feel like he also is well-rounded enough to where he could totally knock out Edwards or at least give him some trouble on the ground. But I feel like if Leon Edwards is going to be a lot less on the back foot than usual and isn't just going to be overly patient and technical with it and try and stink it up or make it a clinch fest against the fence, if this guy gets the fuck after it and tries to find all the right shots and is trying to be precise with it but also land fucking hard, I feel like Leon Edwards can make this a winnable fight. But Morales is well-rounded and dangerous as fuck, so it's going to be a rough go for him. We'll have to see how it goes. I feel like this one could be exciting and really bring the heat out of Edwards. Even though the dude puts on stinkers most of the time, it is what it is. He's still in the top 5, and Morales is a young prospect worthy of the attention of a main card opener. So moving on to the last one we got, what do I think should be the featured prelim for this card? I think you should do Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I had to fucking double check these motherfuckers didn't already fight. This seems like something that would have happened in like Kevin Holland's like 2020 Apex run or some shit. And I had to really double check, but no, this is a fresh matchup, and I think that Kevin Holland is going to beat the fuck out of Daniel Rodriguez. I feel like that's a big mismatch. Yes, it's primarily going to play out on the feet, but Holland, I feel like, is going to piece the fuck out of Daniel Rodriguez. People forget, man, sick knockout over Ponzinibbio, but Kevin Holland has a bit of a redemption arc that he's on right now, and the dude is still improving. Like, the dude is relatively still in his early 30s, so I don't necessarily think Holland is dialed in and is locking in and all that shit. I think it's just the same version of him that shows up every time, but he beats and loses to similar guys, a similar level of caliber of competition, and Randy Brown is right in that in-between, to where it's like, is he as good as the JDMs, and is he as good as the Rainier de Ritters and that level of guys, or is he going to stick around the Mikhail Olasechek level, or a fucking Gunnar Nelson level? Like, I think Randy Brown is such an under-the-radar, really underrated, should be hyped up prospect that is Randy Brown. Like, I feel like the guy is good, solid in the clinch, and his takedown defense is solid as well, but the striking is fucking bliss. Now, granted, it's not always too exciting. You get a couple of split decisions here and fucking there, and you're like, all right, Randy Brown, where's the heat, brother? But then he fucking reminds you, he had one of the best fights this year. It was short but fucking beautiful, my boys, against, I believe it was Nicholas Dalby at the Kansas card, an absolute fucking war. Got one of the knockouts of the year as well to fucking cap it off. So Randy Brown, this guy deserves a shot in the rankings next, and my logic with this is that Kevin Holland will get past D-Rod, and I'm looking at a lot of guys at welterweight that are going to start to be booked up. I don't think Holland necessarily wants all the smoke from the young upcoming prospects, but Randy Brown is one outside of the rankings and also is beatable enough for a guy like Holland. Holland's going to have the grappling advantage here and just a bit more of the experience up top to where I could see Holland getting it done. The guy is well-rounded and fucking dangerous, but Randy Brown, I could see totally, he just deserves his chance, man. He deserves to be on a big pay-per-view like this in Vegas. He deserves his chance in the rankings. He deserves a guy like Kevin Holland to where it's a winnable fight for both guys. I feel like it's going to be high-paced, exciting, and great entertainment on the feet. Good exchanges back and forth. Probably will end in some kind of finish to get the crowd hyped up, and at the end of the day, we'll see if Brown really deserves to be in the fucking rankings and how legit is this run that Holland is on right now, man. So that is going to be it for the 320 card, headlined by Aspinall versus Gane, co-main Brady versus Gary, feature fight Volkov Almeida, Allen versus Murphy, Morales versus Edwards, and feature prelim is Holland versus Brown. So moving on to UFC 321, taking place in Abu fucking Dhabi. You know I'm about to stack the shit out of this like they're giving me the damn oil money, my boys. All right, the main event for this Abu Dhabi card 321 is going to be Big Ang versus Alex Pereira 2. I didn't want to do it to y'all because I know that I didn't want to do this to y'all because I personally, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not too crazy or excited about a Big Ang versus Pereira rematch. I forget that Ankalaev is the current champion, and this first fight was a fucking stinker. But at the end of the day, Prohajko, let's go for that. He's studying up right now. I think he actually just fucking graduated, but I think it makes much more sense for him to face a Khalil and Olberg for a number one contendership fight rather than not giving Pereira the justice he deserves. Because listen, the first fight, it was a close fight. It was a 3-2 for Big Ang, and on top of that, considering that Pereira Pereira established himself in the top 3 light heavyweights of all time, I feel like it's fucking fair. Maybe not that exactly, but the guy is fucking up there, man. You know what I'm saying? So he had a good title run. It was entertainment for the fucking fans, and he went out there and delivered every time. And the guy racked up a pretty solid resume. Like, if he was able to beat Big Ank, a lot of people would be saying Pereira's in the top 10 of all fucking time. Crazy to say that right now, because Pereira has just lost all of his momentum, and I feel like the Poetards are nowhere to be found right now. But regardless, Pereira does deserve his rematch, man. And Prochazka, Khalil, fucking Reyes, even the redemption run, like, the division has time to figure itself out, man. Like, Big Ank and Alex Pereira combined have beaten pretty much everybody in the fucking rankings, it seems like. So at the end of the day, this is the fight to make next. But the number one contender fight is playing out, and hopefully this one ends in a finish this time. And even if it doesn't end in some finish, that's not all I'm fucking asking. Like, at least a bit more output, at least a bit more of an exciting fight. Like, the first one wasn't all terrible, but it was a D tier at best, in my opinion. So at the end of the day, it's a rematch that we're getting no matter what. I feel like it could be an exciting build up maybe this time around, because Pereira is going to be the much bigger underdog and he has much more of a point to prove. But Big Ank is young, well-rounded as fucking, he's dangerous. I don't see anybody beating him besides a Yuri Prochazka for a while. So we'll have to fucking see how it goes, man. But whether we're excited for this one or not, it's what we're getting. And you can't deny that regardless, it is a really big headliner. Like, Pereira is still a big fucking name, especially for the casuals, the hardcores, whatever the fuck. And Big Ank, this is his true test as the champion now, to where, is he going to get the ball rolling for the division for a few years, or is Pereira just going to take it back? We'll have to fucking see it, man. But moving on up next to the co-main event. It seems like forever, it seems at least very rare where we're getting double title headliner pay-per-views, right? I shouldn't say that we just got a couple in a row, but you know what I'm fucking saying. But I think that Merab versus Sandhagen here should be the co-main event for this one. I was thinking about putting it in MSG, but I got a little something I'm cooking up for y'all with that, okay? I'm not going to make that a triple headliner because people forget, man. We don't fucking get those anymore. But at the end of the day, I think Merab versus Sandhagen timeline-wise works out fucking perfectly here. Sandhagen just fought in May. I was there live. Thank you so much for completing my motherfucking parlay. And Merab, he's trying to fight 3 times this year. He's said in interviews he's open to 321, 22, or 23. He seems like he even wants not even to wait that long until 323 for December. So, you know what? Your wish is fucking granted like the shit is Aladdin, my boy. Let's give Merab October, late October. For Merab, that's a goddamn day in the hyperbolic time chamber. Like, this guy recovers fast as fuck. And at the end of the day, Sandhagen, you're going to just do what you're told anyways, all right? Like, Sandhagen, I don't see him really pushing up his glasses and being picky and choosy about when specifically he gets the opportunity. Like, these guys are going around a similar comeback time. It's going to be about 5 to 6 months for him. So I feel like that's enough time to heal up, enough time to be fresh. Merab can heal from his 1,001 fucking injuries, and Corey Sandhagen can be done nerding up. And I feel like this fight, we know it's going to be next. Like, Merab said that he was told from the UFC that he gets to choose who's next for him, and that it could be a rematch against Umar. It could be a trilogy. Hey guys, thank you so much for opportunity. I am going to do quadrilogy with Sean O'Malley. Thank you so much. I could see that being a fucking thing. But Merab said that he's probably going to go with Sandhagen. The timeline adds up, and it's a fresh matchup for Merab. It's what we fucking want from him. The guy's the bantamweight GOAT right now. He's on a crazy as fuck run, and he's one of those champions, kind of like a Topuria or a Makhachev. Like, who the fuck is going to be able to beat this guy? Like, he's on an absolute tear. He's trying to attain fucking GOAT status, and he's trying to just solidify himself even more as the bantamweight GOAT. I think he's going to go out there and smoke Sandhagen, but it is an exciting enough fight to where I think Sandhagen could maybe get a finish. I know it's crazy nowadays to say Sandhagen and finish in the same fucking sense, but I could see it, man. And also Merab, I could see getting a finish here. On the feet or on the ground. Don't be surprised even maybe a little bit of that in between. We see a ground and pound TKO from Merab. But either way, this one, yeah, it could probably go to the judges' scorecards, but at the end of the day, I'm hoping and thinking there's going to be some kind of finish here. Merab has a big point to prove, and Sandhagen, he could pull off the fucking upset of all time. So it's a fresh matchup for Merab. I'm sick of these fucking rematches for him, because you know the one after this is going to be a rematch fucking anyways. So I like the fresh matchup. It's something new. Merab's going to be a big favorite, and as he fucking should be. Moving on up next to what should be the featured fight for this card. Now, I feel like it's going to be another one where it should be a number one contendership fight going down as the same card as the title fight. And I like this for Yuri Prochazka, recent fucking graduate. Let's go for that. I have diploma, and now I am, how I say, less on spectrum. Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. You could do him versus Khalil. I totally fucking love that, and I could see it, but I feel like Ulberg has made his way to the top at this point, to where I think Prochazka's going to go out there and beat the fuck out of him. Probably get a round 2 or 3 finish, but Ulberg has earned his way to a title shot, and it's somebody new in the title picture that hasn't fought Pereira or Big Big Anchor Yuri next. It's like a fresh matchup. And I know that Yuri versus Khalil is as well, but Yuri fought in fucking January, and he's going to be itching to come back around the fucking fall. And Khalil just had a 5-round fight. Granted, he beat the fuck out of Jamal Hill, but it was still a 5-round recent fight that he probably took a little bit of fucking damage in. So I feel like Khalil's going to want to come back sometime around like early winter or a bit later than Prochazka. So at the end of the fucking day, you could totally do that one, but I like the freshness of Oberg getting kind of a shot at the big three in the division that is a Prochazka, Big Ank, and Alex Pereira. I understand that Carlos Oberg is not that fucking exciting of a fighter either. He's a lot more on the dud end of things. I understand that once these guys get into the rankings, it's kind of a hit or miss. Like they're on big finish streaks and then they face somebody with a number next to their name on the fucking screen and all of a sudden it seems like a sparring match. I know that the fight against, who was it? Fucking Ozdemir was solidly fun, and the fight against Blachowicz was just a fucking dud, but Oberg can still be exciting enough to the point to where a guy like Yuri Prochazka, who is constant excitement in every single fucking outing he's ever had in the UFC, he's either getting like these back and forth brutal wars, or he's getting crazy devastating knockouts, or he's getting fucking finished by Pereira. But either way, man, like it's constant excitement. I think that Yuri Prochazka will be able to bring that out of Carlos Oberg to where I think this will be a fucking banger. I think it'll be a back and forth scrap. I'm leaning towards Prochazka for sure, but it's a new, fresh matchup for him, and I feel like at the end of the day, a true number one contendership fight that'll primarily play out on the feet. It's going to be very high paced, probably end in a finish, and it's going to be fucking action. Yuri Prochazka brings it every time, and Oberg, I feel like, even though he's getting a lot of shit, he has the personality of a piece of fucking bread. I feel like at the end of the day, he's earned his way to this kind of fight, so I think you should book it as the same card as the title fight. Moving on up next to the true number one contendership fight that we have for lightweight as well. I'm cooking up for Abu Dhabi, y'all, alright? I think that whichever one of these three men does not get this fight, I think they're going to be facing Topuria next, okay? But I think Paddy Pimblett is the farthest away from the title shot comparatively to Gaethje or Saryukian, to where I think he should for sure be probably getting a fight next. I think the only reason why a lot of people want to see the Paddy Pimblett, or at least they should do the Paddy Pimblett versus Topuria fight, is because one, it's the biggest draw by miles and miles. Two, a lot of trash talk's going to be going down. It's a really exciting fight for the fans. Like, Paddy was in the fucking cage, and I feel like we're in the age right now where we need a lot more trash talk. We need a lot more of the in-cage fucking antics. We need a little bit more of that fuckhead versus fuckhead energy, and Pimblett versus Topuria is chaotic enough, and the buildup will be fun to where I really understand the appeal of that fight. But at the end of the day, Gaethje at least has the fucking experience to where he, even though I've really fucking hated how he's been acting all entitled to the title shot, and I'm going to retire if you don't give it to me. Like, I fucking can't stand that shit. I want to see Gaethje fight somebody else before getting the title shot, or sadly just fucking retire. But at the end of the day, at least he does have that credibility, and he has better wins than a guy like Pimblett, and I feel like that he should just have to face somebody next. But again, like, at least he has title picture experience. At least his resume is pretty fucking solid. At least he's ranked higher. So Gaethje, I guess, is closer, and Saryukian just straight up deserves the shot. I feel like that, again, he missed weight at 311, and he fucked up bad. He fucked up the entire end of Islam Makhachev's lightweight run. He fucked up that card. He fucked up the goddamn lightweight storyline. So I understand why they don't want to forgive Saryukian, but let's cut the bullshit. Like, he is the most realistic guy to face Topuria next. I would like to see that fight. I think Saryukian fucking deserves it. He's the rightful number one contender. I think he's underratedly entertaining. He's very well-rounded, dangerous wrestler with dangerous ground and pound, but the guy can hang on the fucking feet, and he's got cardio for fucking, I would say days, but a solid amount of fucking hours. He's got good cardio. Saryukian is kind of stylistically exactly what you fucking want to make him a real threat for Ilia Topuria, who's a knockout artist, who's fucking, Jesus Christ, like, I literally am getting headaches every time I say the words knockout artist, because of every time Joe Rogan's bald ass, he's a knockout artist, he's a knockout artist. He was fucking saying about Peyton Talbot and Ilia Topuria over and over again from this last weekend, bro. But at the end of the fucking day, man, fuck my Joe Rogan type of hangover here, because at the end of the day, Saryukian, I feel like the guy does deserve it. I feel like Pimblett would have the biggest amount of hype for the fight, and I feel like he would make it a superstardom type fight. And for Gaethje, out of all of them, he is like the biggest name in terms of experience, and he is like the guy to where he does have the most credible wins on his resume. But at the end of the fucking day, you can make an argument for all three of these guys. I think it should be Pimblett versus Gaethje or Saryukian. That's my whole fucking point. Like, it could be Pimblett versus Gaethje, Pimblett versus Saryukian. I don't fucking care, and you give one of those two the title shot. But Paddy Pimblett, I would love to see him fight Topuria, to be honest. Like, let's just get stupid with it. Let's just get simple but fucking sweet. Like, I understand he's ranked number 10, but at the end of the day, the trash talk and the buildup will be fucking sweet, and it's a really big fight feel. But I just feel like Pimblett, man, he just needs one more than Gaethje or Tsarukyan does. Like, Gaethje needs one more for whatever fucking reason. Tsarukyan needs one more for whatever fucking reason. But I feel like Pimblett, because he's ranked the lowest and has the least amount of credibility and has kind of just been consistently fighting old heads, I feel like he deserves one more. And he kind of needs one more to really prove himself, because I think he is legit as fuck. I think he's well-rounded and he's a good talent. His dangerous fucking ground game is going to bring problems for most guys on the goddamn division. But at the end of the day, he still just needs a bit more, that just one top 5 fucking win. And he knows that. Like, after he beat up Chandler, he wasn't calling for a title shot. He called for Tsarukyan, Gaethje, Poirier, or Oliveira. I think one of those fucking names, just given to Patty, but Gaethje at least has that upper level experience, and at least he's a top 5 guy, and whatever. I don't want to see Gaethje get a fucking title shot, but it is what it is, and Tsarukyan deserves the title shot, but I don't think the UFC is going to give it to him. So, whatever. Number 1 contender lightweight fight. Let's fucking book it. Pimblett versus Gaethje or Tsarukyan. And moving on to what should open up the main card here, man. I think it should be Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. This is simple but sweet. Let's rebook it. I already hear it's talking about being rebooked for 3/19 in Chicago. If fucking not, for some reason, dude, this fight just screams Abu Dhabi vibes. I call dibs. They're calling dibs on Neal versus Prates, man. I could see them fucking claiming this. And at the end of the day, I feel like this is a good enough scrap to where it's worth being rebooked. Carlos Prates just lost, but he's still going to be dangerous for a lot of guys in the rankings. And Jeff Neal just won, but he's a bit of that gatekeeper situation right now. So this will end in some kind of knockout. Either Jeff Neal continues to shut down the hype of the fighting nerds, and specifically Carlos Prates, and knocks him out, and shows off how good and underrating his boxing really is. Jeff Neal, the thing about him is he is excitement. He does have dynamite fucking power, but he's also not afraid to stink it up at times. Too much time against the fence, too much time in the clinch. So Jeff Neal is kind of a hit or miss in terms of excitement. He's kind of a split decision here and there, but a brutal knockout here and there kind of fucking guy. But at the end of the day, I feel like that this fight against Prates, primarily strike and battle, I feel like it would be fucking heat. I feel like it would end in some kind of finish. Carlos Prates, really, man, as long as he continues to improve the fight IQ and show a bit of urgency and not really worry as much in the early goings of the fights like how he did against Ian Gary. He could have taken that fight against Gary, but I feel like he was very hesitant until the championship rounds, and also just very low output, and just wanted to make it seem like, because of all the smoking, he just wanted to last into the later rounds, and then he was going to really take over the judges' scorecards or find the right knockout. And to be fair, he almost did just that, but this is going to be a 3-rounder. I feel like Prates is going to get the fuck after it a lot earlier, and this fight's going to end in some kind of finish. Pure boxer and Jeff Neal versus a pure Muay Thai fucking artist and Carlos Prates. I think this would be a very high-paced fight that would end in some kind of knockout. Exciting for the fans. Striker versus striker. Number 10 or 11 in Neal versus number 13 Prates. Makes fucking sense, and it's worth rebooking. And moving on to what should be the featured prelim. No one fucking Abu Dhabi cards, it's going to be a number 1 contendership fight. That's the fucking featured prelim. But at the end of the day, I think it should be hometown-ish man, Abu Smagomedov, the Marauder of Marauders, taking on Joe Pyfer. Now, you could do Gregory Rodriguez versus Joe Pyfer as well. I feel like that's a sick fucking fight, but I want to see Rodriguez take on a different kind of opponent that's not just a prospect versus prospect fight. I would love to see Pyfer versus Rodriguez. That's instant fucking heat. I feel like it would be some kind of brutal, devastating finish. Both those guys hit fucking hard and have underrated defensive grappling. But at the end of the fucking day, I feel like that Rodriguez, you could argue, earns his own shot in the rankings, and Pyfer, I feel like, earns his own shot in the rankings. And most of the middleweights are booked the fuck up, at least as I'm recording this video. But Abu Smagomedov right now is the only ranked fucking middleweight, to my recollection, that isn't having a fight booked up soon. So I feel like let's fucking give him a chance against Joe Pyfer here, to where Pyfer can really, even though he has been making slow improvements, he does still have a lot of holes in his game. Like, his output sometimes is just too low, and it's just not enough, even though he isn't really necessarily getting rocked or dying out. It's just the guy is overly cautious and overly hunts for the finish, and his wrestling has been improving a lot, but it's just not anything too crazy, to where Abu Smagomedov could be well-rounded enough to really give Joe Pyfer some fucking problems on the ground and be able to hang with his biggest shots on the feet. So it's kind of a fight where Pyfer would be the favorite, and a lot of people would go with him, probably me included. The power is fucking scary, and in all regards, the way he's picking up Kelvin Gastelum and sending him to the fucking moon, it's ridiculous, man. The guy is strong as fucking all regards. So Joe Pyfer could give a lot of problems for Magomedov, probably knock his ass out. Like, if Sean fucking Strickland, here's the fucking thing, you guys, I got fucking stones behind these hands. If he's going out there, I'm gonna go to war for you fucking guys. I'm the Apex King. If he's going out there and knocking out Abu Smagomedov, it makes me fucking worried for the man's man's family, because Joe Pyfer probably could do the exact fucking same. But also, Pyfer does have enough holes in his game to where the cardio could be an issue, the fight IQ could be an issue, the low output, or the fucking possibly holes in the ground. Because his wrestling is improving, but it ain't all that relatively to where Magomedov could win it. I think Piper's earned his shot in the rankings, and for Magomedov, he's got to face somebody outside of it. Everybody else is fucking booked, and I don't think he's really earned his way to like deserving a top 10 shot. So I feel like this fight makes sense, man. So main event, Big Ang versus Pereira 2, co-main Marab versus Sandhagen, Prohashka versus Olberg is the featured fight, Pimblett versus Gaethje Saryukian, Neal versus Protest to open up the main, and Pyfer versus Magomedov as the feature prelim. So moving on now to the last card I got for y'all, man, and I'm proud of this one probably the most. I think that this one is probably the best out of the three I'm cooking up. Madison Square Garden in November, it's usually where they fucking go, and I feel like that's going to be the same thing this year, except we don't have to sit through another year of John Jones bullshit. We finally get a bit of freshness in the air. And I feel like the past couple of MSG cards have been a bit of a letdown compared to the standard they'd set before, but we're bringing it fucking back. And it's going to be starting off with a great main event. Honestly, one of the fights that I didn't expect to be the best of this year, but it's quickly becoming that, because JDM versus Makhachev, for Makhachev trying to attain double champ status, and for JDM to fucking defend his belt. And if he beats Makhachev, man, I mean, I feel like he's going to go on a run for a fucking while, because not to say that Makhachev is just going to dominate the rest of the division or vice versa, but I feel like if you're beating Makhachev, who I feel like is going to translate up to welterweight pretty well, you're going to be the fucking man for a while. The guy is pound for pound number one gone two, like I'm saying, so I feel like the guy's skill set is there, very well rounded, has been developing a lot of power and just great skills in the striking in general over the past few years. And is it good enough to hang with JDM striking though? Because the guy is so fluid, great head movement, great footwork, and the guy fucking stings like a bee. He's a powerful striker, man, and I just feel like with the speed and fluidity, can Makhachev be able to keep up? Because Bilal has underrated boxing. I dare say good fucking boxing. Crazy statement, but hey, you know, I would have went out there, and if I followed the game plan, I would have beat the hell out of this guy, you know? Bilal Muhammad, man, still has solid boxing, but Makhachev is a superior striker. Bilal has good wrestling, but Makhachev is the superior wrestler. So I feel like he's just a better version, or shares a lot of the similar strengths that Bilal has, but he's just a better version of Bilal, and he actually has fucking finishing ability. So against JDM, I'm really curious to see how it goes, because I feel like this is a very 50-50 fight. I want to go with Makhachev, but my gut is telling me JDM, and I want to go with JDM, but my mind is telling me Makhachev. The demons won't shut up, y'all. But at the end of the day, I'm excited as fuck for this fight. When I found out it was first going to be the fight that we were getting next instead of Makhachev versus Topuria at 315, it was a disappointment to say the least, but at the end of the day, this fight's really been growing on me. It's really fucking exciting. I think we're going to see great exchanges on the ground, great exchanges on the feet. This is a very fucking high-level fight to determine who's going to be running the welterweight and possibly the fucking lightweight if Makhachev wins this shit divisions over the next couple of years. And if Makhachev gets this, man, he's one or two, or maybe dare say fucking three away from becoming the GOAT of the sport. So love this main event, man. Elite fighting on display for all regards of the fight. So moving on to the co-main event, let's do a little bit of Australia versus Russia, motherfuckers, okay? Volkanovski versus Evloev. When Evloev is done facing the jabroni fucking matchup that is Aaron Pico for the Abu Dhabi card, when he goes out there and he wins a 49-46, maybe even a ground and pound TKO, this guy already is the rightful number one contender. After that, it's going to be just undeniable, undisputed, unbelievable Joe Rogan shit. I feel like Evloev versus Volk is the fight that a lot of people have been wanting to see, and the thing is, it wasn't even like that until really recently, but the fact that Yair Rodriguez, this fucking doomsday to the sport, is somebody that people so badly don't want to get the title shot, and I completely fucking agree that they have changed up on Evloev so fast, because before, me included, dude, I was just bashing Evloev. I feel like his past few fights have been fun, but in the grand scheme of things, he isn't all that entertainment-wise. He doesn't really do the numbers that the UFC wants. No finishes, and yes, the past 2 or 3 fights have been fun. Allen and Lopez and Ige, and I'm forgetting one for sure, and Sterling as well. There we fucking go. And Sterling. So he's been putting on entertaining scraps, but again, like, he just isn't. He's more so of the nightmare champion for the division. So the fact that people switched up and they hate Yair Rodriguez so bad to where now everybody's hopping on the Evloev train, I love to see it, because at the end of the fucking day, This is the sport, and Yair Rodriguez getting a title shot is one of the dumbest things they could ever fucking do right now, especially with the state of the sport right now, and everyone questioning the legitimacy of everything, and if Uncle Dana's even the boss, and it's just like John Jones made a complete embarrassment out of the sport, and I feel like if Yair gets the title shot, it's just such a spit in the face to everything that the rankings are supposed to mean. Because at the end of the day, that's just a WWE title shot, man. This TKO shit is killing us, y'all. But at the end of the day, Evloev, I think, is going to go beat Pico. Volkanovski says that Evloev's the rightful number one contender anyways. He's waiting for a November or December return, maybe as early as October. And if you want to switch this card for Merab and Sandhagen and put this one on Abu Dhabi instead, I could totally see that. A back-to-back Abu Dhabi fight night for fucking Evloev here. So the hometown-ish advantage, but Volkanovski's the man. It's a fucking... He's one of the fighters that are elite enough to really be able to headline or co-headline the big bad MSG arena to make it feel prestigious. It's just one of those elite cards, man. You got a crazy legacy-changing fight in the main event and then the co-main as well. Volkanovski's legacy on the fucking line, or is Evloev going to become the Nightmare champion? But we did ask for this, and we do need this. At the end of the day, it is the fucking sport. He's the rightful number one contender. We're going to have to just see how the fight goes. I think he has a really good chance against Volkanovski, to be honest. But it's going to be as elite as it can get for featherweight standards. Both these guys are so well-rounded. Evloev just lacks that finishing ability. But he is a good pressure fighter. And again, he does know how to mix it up on the ground really well. Sterling was the guy who was able to out-wrestle him. And Allen was the guy who was able to outstrike him. But at the end of the day, he's still good enough to hang with both of those guys. And maybe even Volkanovski. So it's going to be 5 rounds of a technical back and forth with some guys having big moments over the other. I love the fight. Hopefully it fucking happens, man. Because I swear to fuck, y'all. I swear to fucking God, man, I don't give a shit if it's in Mexico or wherever the fuck it could be on the moon. I will not be fucking tuning in to Volkanovski versus Yair 2. I mean, I will watch it. Fuck. But at the end of the day, I'm going to hate every second of it. So, moving on up next to the featured fight for this card, Belal Muhammad. Motherfucker ain't following the game plan. Maybe he will this time. Against Kamaru Usman, ideally. But if Usman seriously is just very intent on waiting until fighting next year and just waiting for a title shot to just fucking appear like instant transmission, Shavkat Rakhmonov would just be, I feel like, almost just as good of a fight, but not really. Like, it's a smidge below, especially because now Belal's not the champion and Shavkat just is so fucking inactive, man. Like, he just takes this gigantic amount of periods off and then comes back and has a good win, and it's another year off, and then it's just like all the momentum that he kind of gained through that win, and he's slowly moving up the rankings. Now all of a sudden he's just becoming, how did this guy even get up so fucking high in the rankings in general? He needs one of those elite top 5 wins, so I feel like Belal Muhammad could be that for Shavkat. Again, this fight probably won't be as hyped up or highly anticipated as it was for when it was going to go down for 310, or if Shavkat was going to face Belal instead of JDM for 315. I don't think it's going to be exactly the same level of hype, but I feel like Belal versus Shavkat will be a really fun, hot-paced 3-rounder. Shavkat trying to get the finish, and Belal not just trying to survive, but I feel like outstrike Shavkat and out-wrestle him and just out-fucking work him. And I feel like over the course of 3 rounds, it's a 50-50 fight. I could see it going either fucking way. I feel like Father Time is the thing that'd be really killing Belal here, but smoothly transitioning like some Fantano shit into the Kamaru Usman fight, because Father Time is not on this motherfucker's side either. So if he wants to go and really just carry the momentum of the Buckley win, I feel like Belal's a perfect opponent for him, because Usman did not look nearly the level of good striker that he was in his prime against his last out against Buckley, but the wrestling was damn near peak Usman. Like, he was so good at controlling Buckley. When he wanted to take him down, he was so clean with the entries, and he was able to hold him down for a majority of the rounds until the fucking 5th, and arguably a little bit in the 4th, but you know what I'm saying. Usman's wrestling is still fucking there, and it makes the Chimaev win look even fucking better, or Chimaev loss, I guess you should say. But Belal Muhammad's wrestling, it is elite. He's a heavy pressure fighter, and I feel like against Usman, with all the shit talking, with the pound for pound podcast thing, I feel like these two would be fucking yapping at the presser and in the build-up. You can even do a face-to-face with them, man. I feel like they both be talking a bit of shit to each other, and whether it's cringy or not, we're gonna have to fucking see, because it's Usman at old age, and it's Belal Muhammad who's Belal fucking Muhammad. So we'll have to see it, but the beef is genuinely here, and I love to see it. We need a bit more of that trash talk. We need a bit more of that heated rivalry-esque vibe and big stakes going into fights. Like, these motherfuckers would scrap even outside of the cage kind of vibe, and I feel like that fight, Belal versus Usman, is that. So I feel like that's the fight to make if Usman doesn't want to fucking sit and wait, and I hope he doesn't, and I feel like that's a relatively fair turnaround for him. Like, he took little to no damage against the Buckley fight, so I feel like that coming back for November after June is pretty fair, and especially going against pillow puncher Belal Muhammad, who wants to return around this time as well. well, it's fucking perfect, man. But if Usman doesn't want to and he wants to wait, I think Shavkat will be just a little bit less of a good fight, but still great nonetheless. So moving on up next to another one, man, that we're cooking with here, all right? Kai Kara France versus Manel Kape. Another fight. This would be perfect for the fucking presser. Genuine beef. These guys fucking can't stand each other. I mean, it's kind of like you could put Strickland and Izzy in their fucking corners or something here. Like Kai Kara France and Manel Kape. It's a genuine flyweight grudge match. And both of them are primarily good fucking strikers for the division who have a high pace and have knockout ability up there. These guys are knockout artists, man. I swear to God, with the Joe Rogan hangover, it's still here. But I feel like that this fight would be really fun on the feet. Probably end in some kind of knockout. Maybe in the early rounds, later rounds. I don't fucking know. And it's unpredictable as well. I can't tell who would be the clear favorite here. Maybe it could be Kape, but I could see Kai Kara France getting this fucking win, man. So I feel like it would end in a finish. It's going to be flashy, high pace, great flyweight striking on display. For flyweight standards, man, these two hit about as hard as you fucking can. So I feel like at the end of the day, makes sense rankings-wise. Kape is the pull-out king, but hopefully this fight actually fucking happens this time. And Kai Kara France, I mean, I understand he just came off a devastating loss to Pantoja. He had nothing for Pantoja in that fight, on the feet and on the ground. But at the end of the day, I feel like he also didn't take any fucking damage at the same time. So I feel like a few-month turnaround is nothing too unrealistic. And Kape, because he pulled out against fucking Royval and gave up his #1 contender opportunity, he's going to want to get back in there relatively quick. I think he was just dealing with an illness, so it's not going to be someone that takes him out for fucking months like Chimaev. So at the end of the day, Kai Kara France versus Kape, genuine grudge match, really good striking on display. You get a fucking finish, and you get a lot of shit talk and highlight reels with it. So I love this fight for Madison Square Garden. And moving on to what I think should open up the main card, another simple but sweet one, all right? Dominic Reyes versus Alexander Rakic. Now, Dominic Reyes, the redemption arc is fucking real, and Alexander Rakic is a guy who's ranked pretty much one slot above him. I think that Reyes will be the favorite here, which is a crazy change of pace, especially considering this guy was a big underdog last year against Dustin fucking Jacoby. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know how long this comeback's been going on, but I'm here for every second of it for Dominic Reyes. And I feel like this is a winnable fight for both guys. As much as I want to just ride that wave of fucking Dominic Reyes and be like, this guy's gonna get his title opportunity, man. Book him versus Prochazka. As much as I want to be that guy, we still need to see a fight or two out of him before we can kind of give him that very top 5 spot. Because if you just rush Reyes to the point to where, okay, he beat Smith and he beat fucking Nikita Krylov, and one of those wins is a lot better than the other, but still, he's on a bit of a streak right now. But all of a sudden, you put a fucking Olberg or a Prochazka or a Pereira in front of him, and he's getting decked and he's going all the way back to the apex. We don't want that for Reyes. So this is a fight where it could go the distance, it could end in some kind of finish, but I feel like that Rakic has a point to prove after kind of just showing low fight IQ, and I know that his team was a big reason to that, but he ended up kind of choking the fight against Ankalaev. He's going to want to go and be high pace similar to how he was, and heavy pressure similar to how he was going against Yuri Prochazka, because that motherfucker looked like the best light heavyweight on earth in that first round. So if he can bring that to Reyes, who I don't think is going to be as devastating in the power department or high level experience department as Prochazka, that's why I think it's winnable for Rakic. But if Reyes wins, it's another name on the resume, it's another way to move up in the rankings, and then you're giving him a top 5 opponent after that. But I feel like this would be a fun scrap, probably going to end in some kind of KO, and even if it doesn't, I feel like it's a nice back and forth, really hard fight to predict going into it. It's a close fight, and I fucking love those kinds of scraps, man. So moving on to the featured prelim of the card, let's get Peyton Talbot back in another one of the big cards, but not on the main card this time, all right? Let's hope no fucking pullouts here. I think that this guy could be a main card pay-per-view buy one day, but I feel like that, especially against Felipe Lima, it's just not your time yet. I understand with the circumstances of the card and all that shit. I understand that, but Talbot, I think he's a great prospect to invest in. I told y'all not to give up on this motherfucker. Thank you for the underdog money, but regardless, I feel like he should still be someone worth hyping up and building momentum for, and he does have to kind of be on the prelims of these big cards, because now he's going to become more of a recognizable name. So, because going after 303, 311, 3 fucking, whatever the most recent one was, like, they're saving him for the big cards, alright? So let's put him on the prelims here, the feature prelim against Adrian Yanez or Ricky Simon. If you want to just have a stand and bang fucking war, going to end in a guarantee finish, and it's just going to be great striking on display, very high paced, I think you should do him versus Yanez. That's going to be a fucking barn burner, and Talbot's been calling for it. But if you want someone who is a bit more on a win streak right now, a bit more of a credible name, just kind of lingering outside of the rankings, and someone who's been around the UFC for a fucking while, people forget, man, this guy beat Merab Dvalishvili. Ricky Simon, I feel like you could do that as well. If you want someone that's going to test him more so in the wrestling, and you're down for a slower paced fight, but someone with more credibility, go go for Ricky Simone. But I think one of these two dudes should be next. It works out because Giannis, I feel like, just fought around March. Simone just fought in June. Talbot just fought in June. So it's fucking perfect. Bada bang, bada boom. Great bantamweight striking on display. And let's see if Talbot can really continue to improve the takedown offense. Because it looked great against Lima. And you could say that Lima is on that Simone and Giannis level. So let's see if Talbot can keep the ball rolling. But against a legitimate fucking opponent. Because both these guys are far from jabronis. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this MSG card, main event, JDM and Makhachev, co-main Volk versus Evloev, featured fight Bilal Muhammad versus Usman or Shavkat, KKF versus Cobb, Reyes versus Rakic, and the feature prelim is Talbot versus Simone or Giannis. So boys, that is going to be it for this video, man. Let me know in the comments what you think of these matchups. Which one of these were my best? Which one were my fucking worst? Where did I cook and where do I flop? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so very much for giving me your time and attention and making it this far into the video, man. It means the fucking world to me. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so very much. Please give this video a like. Please hit subscribe. Endlessly appreciated. And have a good time watching the fights at Nashville next weekend, my boys. So leave your opinions in the comments below. Thank you so very much for the time and attention. Hope you have a good one, man. All the smoke here, and I will see you all next time.